I will tell them I am from Ethiopia. And when I say I'm from Ethiopia, I mean that I'm from Ethiopia. I'm not being facetious or anything, because wherever I go, Africa is with me. So I eat Ethiopian style. I think in an Ethiopian way to a large extent, not totally, but to a large extent. So Africa is inside of me, and what I do here is I'm sharing some of what's inside of me with you. So maybe you'll be infected by this disease that I'm carrying around too. It's even better than COVID. Yeah, because you can actually get this disease and be at peace with oneself and the rest of the world as well. So, peace be with you. As we begin our presentation for this evening, let me open up by saying the usual. We need you to do a couple things for us, as always. Number one, give us a like if you're watching on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. And of course, make sure to spread the word far and wide about Black Facts. Let everybody know where they need to go if they want to relax to the max, because we're here to help you become comfortable in your own skin. That's right. This is one of the things that Garvey talked about, being comfortable in your own skin, that our blackness is nothing to be ashamed of. It's actually a badge of honor to be born black. And I know as a young person, I didn't necessarily think that way. That's something I had to grow into. I had to learn more about who I was before I could really become comfortable in my own skin. So I know there's some people out there that still do not quite feel comfortable in their own skin or their own hair or whatever. Okay? People are out there like that. So we hope that you'll be comfortable here. Make sure, like I said already, to spread the word far and wide about what we're doing right here on the Tubular Black Facts channel. Now, meanwhile, let's go ahead and see what kind of words of wisdom the Right Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey has to share with us tonight. What words of wisdom? What words of wisdom does he have to share with us tonight? Let's see. All right, here we go here. This is a short one. As I always say, I like short is good. Short is good. Men who are in earnest are not afraid of consequences. Men who are in earnest are not afraid of consequences. Words of wisdom from Marcus Mosiah Garvey for today. Right out of the Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, is edited by one of his wives, Amy Jacques Garvey. So let's see where we're at in this book. I know we're getting close to the end of this book. Let's see if we can finish it off today, and if not, then we'll continue on tomorrow, but we may just be able to finish it off tonight. Let's see what we can see and read what we can read. Now, let's see if this machine will work for me tonight. The majority of Black American leaders joined in condemning Garvey for meeting with the Ku Klux Klan. Du Bois wrote, Marcus Garvey is without doubt the most dangerous enemy of the Negro race in America and in the world. He is either a lunatic or a traitor. William Pickens, a noted Black educator, told Garvey, you compare the aim of the Ku Klux Klan in America with your aim in Africa, and if that be true, no civilized mind can endorse either of you. Garvey's critics were appalled that he was willing to give up the fight for black rights in America. Further controversies dogged Garvey. On June 15, 1922, he divorced his wife, from whom he had been separated, while she was away in England. A month later, he married his secretary, Amy Jacques. On her return to the United States, Amy Ashwood Garvey contested the divorce and Garvey's second marriage, but the suit failed. The black press, by now generally hostile to Garvey, supported the charges of misconduct filed against him by his ex-wife. Hostility toward Garvey continued to grow. In August 1922, as delegates gathered for the third UNIA convention, a group opposed to Garvey, called the Friends of Negro Freedom, met in New York to denounce his alleged alliance with the Ku Klux Klan. Amid street fights between UNIA militants and their opponents, the cry of "Garvey must go" was heard loudly and clearly. On January 15, 1923, 8 leaders of the black community sent a letter to U.S. Attorney General Harry M. Daughtry, asking the government to push ahead with its efforts to bring Garvey to trial. The case had been delayed for nearly a year while the government investigated the Black Star Line. The latter claimed that Garvey was trying to stir racial hatred and that his organization was involved in many acts of lawlessness and violence. Garvey lashed back at his attackers, accusing them of treachery to their race. Whether or not the letter had any effect, 4 months later the trial began. Marcus Garvey, Ellie Garcia, George Tobias, and Orlando Thompson were brought to trial for illegally sending false and misleading Black Star Line advertisements through the U.S. mail. The UNIA membership remained devoted to their troubled leader. Thousands of letters and petitions objecting to the charges against him poured into government offices. During the trial, hundreds of supporters gathered around the courthouse, praying, protesting, and sometimes threatening the witnesses who testified against Garvey. Garvey was convinced that government officials were intent on discrediting him and destroying his organization. Once the trial proceedings began, he became even more certain that he was caught in a trap. The judge, Julian Mack, was a contributor to the NAACP, the organization that Garvey considered his bitterest enemy. Garvey requested that Mack disqualify himself on the grounds that the judge might be unconsciously swayed to make rulings in favor of the prosecution. Mack refused, denying that he was biased in any way against the defendants. Garvey hired one of the ablest black lawyers in America, Cornelius W. McDougal, for his defense. At the end of the first day of the trial, however, he dismissed McDougal. Always suspicious, Garvey believed that the lawyer was being used in the plot against him. For a while thereafter, Garvey conducted his own defense. His inexperience as a lawyer hurt his case. He showed off, made irrelevant speeches, argued continually with the judge's rulings, and generally prolonged the trial. He finally realized he needed help and accepted the services of a white lawyer named Armin Cohn. The trial lasted for more than a month. The prosecution called 30 witnesses, many of them former Black Star Line employees and stockholders. The company's records were introduced as evidence. They revealed that the Black Star Line had been badly mismanaged, but the charge that Garvey was personally dishonest was more difficult to prove. The government's case rested on the claim that Garvey mailed misleading advertisements to blacks to convince them to purchase Black Star Line stock. Although Garvey knew that his company was failing, the government claimed he continued to send out advertisements that promised huge profits and dividends. The main witness was Benny Dancy, a man who allegedly bought stock after receiving a Black Star Line advertisement. When questioned on the stand, however, Dancy displayed only a vague memory of what kind of mail he had been sent. He could not remember any specific details about the Black Star Line advertisement. In his closing address to the jury, Garvey pointed out that the government had not proved that he had made any statements about his shipping company that he had known were false. He and the other defendants had only the best intentions regarding the Black Star Line, he added. We had no monetary considerations or reward before us, but the good we could do our race. You will say it was bad business, but gentlemen, there is something spiritual beside business. I ask no mercy. I ask no sympathy. I ask but for justice. But Garvey's entreaties were in vain. After deliberating for 6 hours, the jury found the Black Star Line president guilty of fraud. The other 3 co-defendants were acquitted. Garvey was flabbergasted. The trial he angrily protested was a conspiracy to ruin Marcus Garvey. I'm satisfied to let the world judge me innocent or guilty. History will decide. On June 21st, 1923, Judge Mack sentenced Garvey to pay a $1,000 fine and to serve a 5-year term in prison, the maximum sentence. UNIA lawyers immediately filed a plea, and Garvey waited impatiently in the Tombs prison, a Manhattan detention center, while his organization tried desperately to raise the $15,000 bail. My work has just begun, he wrote in prison, and as I lay down my life for the cause of my people, so do I feel that succeeding generations shall be inspired by the sacrifice that I made for the rehabilitation of the race. Garvey was finally released on bail 3 months later, and the ecstatic UNIA membership flocked to Liberty Hall to celebrate. He was convicted, Garvey told the crowd, because I represented, even as I do now, a movement for the real emancipation of my race. Never one to take a temporary setback for defeat, he set out to rejuvenate his organization while his appeals dragged on in court. The first step was a new shipping line. And on March 20, 1924, he announced that he was forming the Black Cross Navigation and Trading Company. The sorry fate of the Black Star Line had not weakened his followers' trust in him, and stock sales for the new company boomed. The line soon purchased the steamship General G.W. Goethals for $100,000 and scheduled a trip to the West Indies. Where else would you go? Got to take a trip to the West Indies. Departing from New York in January 1925. Unfortunately, the fate of the Black Cross vessel was depressingly similar to that of the Black Star Line ships. As usual, Garvey tried to finance the voyage by using the ship to sell stock along the way, and the General G.W. Goethals was forced to stop in port after port while attempts were made to raise enough money to continue. The ship was later sold to cover UNIA debts. On February 2nd, 1925, Garvey's appeal was rejected. He was in Detroit on UNIA business and immediately returned to New York to surrender to the federal marshals. They handcuffed and arrested him as the main train pulled into the station. On February 8th, he was assigned to the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary, far from the center of UNIA activity in New York. In March, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected a final appeal by Garvey's lawyers to review his case. Beginning his 5-year term, Garvey wrote to his followers, "If I die in the ATL, my work shall only then begin, but I shall live in the physical or spiritual sense to see the day of Africa's glory. With God's dearest blessings, I leave you for a while." And in the last chapter in this book is chapter 8, and it's entitled, "Look for Me in the Whirlwind." And I think I will save that one for tomorrow night. We'll read that last chapter, or at least a good portion of it, tomorrow night. Look for me in the whirlwind. Yes. Good book. Very good book. It's a well-written book. So far, so good. Everything I'm seeing here is looking good. So, you know what time it is. You know what we need to do. All you little children out there need to take your little heads and put them on your little pillow, on your little bed, and close those eyes while you wait on the sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, you'll know that it's time for you to rise and shine, oh children of mine. We say this every night, and we hope it helps you all take flight in the new day. But right now, it's time to end your day in a very nice way. And what I like all you adults to do out there to end your day in a nice way is just the usual. Go ahead, give us a like if you're watching on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up if you're watching on the tube. Last but not least, go ahead and subscribe to the Tubular Black Facts channel. If you want to see somebody go about handling their business, this is the place to do it, because we'll not only are handling our business here, we may even handle your quizness. That's right, we might just give you a quiz and find out if you are as much of a whiz as your kids. Think about that one. Meanwhile, we're gonna go ahead and log out here. You know, we got our playlist coming up this weekend at noon, tomorrow and Sunday. Tomorrow's playlist is Garvey Says. Sunday's playlist will be Do You Remember? That's right. And we're going to be playing lots of music. We'll be playing lots and lots of reggae music. We'll be playing other songs, songs about Garvey, songs with Garvey in it, songs about the work of Garvey. We're going to be all Garveyed out, Garvey down, red, black, and green. That's right. We're bringing it back, and we're bringing it back real mean. The RBG. So make sure you're here with me at 12 o'clock noon on Saturday and Sunday, because both of them are going to be our fun day. Peace out without a doubt now. And let me say, Tutal Nana to Olumola Akinwumi. If I got that right. I can barely make it out there. I got some glare in my eyes. So, peace out, y'all. With justice, of course, because anything less disgusts us.